Hello and welcome. My name is Christina from Empowered Creator. I am a mindset and conscious manifesting teacher and coach, and this is my YouTube channel. Here I talk about all things law of assumption, mindset, conscious manifesting, the quantum universe, and a lot more. And my goal is to simplify everything without the fluff. So if you guys like this content and you would like to see more of it, I would love it if you would subscribe to this channel, comment on this video, like it, share it, and stick around. Also, if you need help with your specific situation, I offer one-on-one coaching, email coaching, small group coaching, as well as custom subliminals for whatever needs you may have. So if you're interested in any of these services, the links are below in the description box. Click on them and they're going to take you to my website. With all that being said, let's dive into today's video. In today's video, I want to remind you guys that you are the only one for your specific person. And I also want to go a little deeper and explain to you, or rather remind you, why that is the case, why you are the only one for your specific person, and why it cannot be any other way. So you can actually believe it, you can actually embody it, and that is going to lead to your manifestation so much faster, so much more smoothly, and so much more effortlessly. This is what I'll be discussing in today's video, so stay tuned. So there is this pattern, there is this trend that I'm noticing in the manifesting community. Also, I see the same pattern in a lot of the comments I get on my videos. And of course, I see it in a lot of my coaching clients. And the pattern that I'm talking about is that for whatever reason, whether it's another person, whether it's a circumstance or a set of circumstances, whether it is something that your specific person has said or done or hasn't said or hasn't done, or any other reason, you have come to believe and assume that you're actually not the only one in your person's life. That you're not the first priority, you are not the one they want to be with, that they have had to reject you or that they have chosen to reject you for XYZ reason, that they're not interested in you, they don't want to commit with you, they have chosen someone else, or they have chosen their circumstances, they have chosen their family, they have chosen their career, they have chosen to live abroad, they have chosen their life goals, and these most of the time, for one reason or another, do not include you. Or maybe some of you are excusing the circumstances or are excusing the conditions in your SP's life, and maybe are believing and are assuming that maybe they want to be with you, but they can't be with you. Whatever the specific assumption might be, the main assumption, the central assumption you're coming to is that either your specific person doesn't want to be with you, or cannot be with you, or has chosen something else, or someone else, or the circumstances are too big, or whatever other reason, whatever other justification you might be giving. And I'm here to remind you that all of this actually comes from you. It actually comes from your own consciousness, from where you have chosen to put your consciousness, where you have chosen to put your awareness, and what you have chosen to dwell on. So what you're dwelling on is all the facts and all the reasons why you are not the only one in your specific person's life. Why you're not number one for them, why you're not the number one priority for them, why they're not choosing to build a life with you, why they're not choosing or they can't commit to you. And what you ultimately need to realize is that all of this comes from you. It still comes from you. And none of that, and I do mean none of that, actually matters. If you are giving power to the circumstances, if you are giving power to other people, if you are giving power to your person's career choices or their business or their financial situation or the long distance that might be between you, if you're giving power to their family, to their culture, to how things are, to how things should be or how they are supposed to be or anything like that, that still comes from you. You are still the one empowering those circumstances and feeding them and accepting them as true for you, in the sense that you're accepting them as problems, you're accepting them as obstacles. What I want you to realize is that you don't have to accept them as problems or obstacles. You don't have to accept them as anything at all. Because at the end of the day, circumstances don't really exist. They don't really exist, not in the sense that you don't observe them in the 3D, not in the sense that you might not have an obstacle here and there, but they don't exist because if you actually decide not to give so much power, not to give so much energy to that quote-unquote obstacle, it's going to fall away. So if you're accepting, if you're consenting to the fact that you're not the only one for your specific person, then there's going to be one circumstance or another, or one set of circumstances or another, that is always going to be a problem in your relationship, that's always going to be delaying things, that's always going to be blocking things, that's always going to be stopping your manifestation from coming, always stopping your specific person from choosing you, and so on. At the same time, you know you have this desire. And this desire is very simple, it's very bare bones. It's you and your specific person together. It might be in a marriage and having a happy family. It might be in a happy, committed relationship. It might be dating. But in some sort and shape and form, it's you and your specific person together. It's just you and them. This is your basic desire. This is your core desire. And what you're doing by believing and consenting to all those factors that you're assuming are not allowing you two to be together is essentially giving justification to the fact that you're not the only one for your specific person. However, it doesn't have to be that way. You have that basic desire, and we've said before that desires always come from our higher self. Our higher self has already experienced that desire in the 4D, in the quantum field, and is here to nudge our human self to actually go for it and to actually experience it. What our human self has to do is to actually dwell on the desire and not on everything around the desire, not on this circumstance and that circumstance, not on this condition of reality or in that condition of reality. Your actual core, basic, bare bones desire is you and your specific person together in a happy, committed, loving relationship or marriage. Everything else you accept, everything else you assume, means that you're assuming and you're accepting conditions that are outside of your desire. You are conditioning your desire. It will only happen if such and such and such happens. Or it cannot happen because of this and this and this. Or it's very difficult to happen because of this and that. So you see then how you're essentially self-sabotaging by accepting all those conditions, by accepting all those circumstances to be a part of your reality, when you can actually instead focus your attention on your core desire. And your core desire is that you're the only one for your specific person. And it cannot be any other way because that is your reality. That is your consciousness we're talking about. That is your awareness, where you're putting your own awareness, where you're putting your own consciousness, and then the 3D comes to match it, then the 3D comes to reflect it. The thing that you need to understand and realize is that your desire is you. You are the desire. You're not separate from the desire. Your desire comes from you, and all the circumstances, whatever it might be happening, whatever might be going on, they still come from you. And you have a choice on whether to put your consciousness and your main focus on your main basic core desire, which is usually a very, very simple desire. Usually it can be summarized in one sentence. And when it comes to SP, it's usually me and my SP together. Or you choose to clutter your desire with all the conditions, with all the circumstances, all the things that need to happen first, all the other people that are getting involved in your story. And by doing that, you just stop yourself, you just prevent yourself from being the only one for your SP, which is what your core desire has been all along. As Neville said, you already are who you want to be. And the only reason you don't see it is your refusal to believe it. So your higher self has given you a desire that says, I am the only one for my SP. You want this desire because you're able to imagine it. You're able to feel it in your imagination, to feel how it feels to be that person, to be the only one for you and your SP. You want it and you desire it and you long for it. And yet you're not allowing yourself to experience it. You attach a number of conditions to it. You attach a number of circumstances to it that you have assumed are blocking it. You're not allowing yourself to actually experience that basic, core, simple desire. Me and my SP together. I am the only one for my SP. Nothing else matters. No one else matters. Whether it's a third party, whether it's their family, their siblings, their boss, their career, the long distance, their money, whatever it might be. You are, and always have been, the only one for your SP. It's just a question of, is your consciousness there? Is your consciousness matched with that reality? Is your consciousness aligned with that reality? Or are you allowing all the other things to come and clutter the desire? So I'm suggesting that you actually start dwelling on this simple fact, this simple truth, that you are the only one for your specific person. Your higher self knows that. Your higher self has given you the desire in a very, very simple form. You don't need to condition it. You don't need to add to it. It doesn't need anything. All it needs is your dwelling in it. All it needs is your assumption. All it needs is your inner state, your dominant inner state to align with it, your dominant inner story to align with it, and your dominant energy to align with the person who has their specific person right now, who is the only one for their specific person. And there's nothing and nobody that's in between. With all that being said, I'm going to wrap up this video here. I intend that this has helped. As always, I very much appreciate you guys being on this channel, watching this content. I love making this content for you. And as always, I look forward to seeing you all at the next video. Until then, take care and bye-bye.